Just talk to me about the Premier League generally, Gary, because as you mentioned, United could go fifth, level on points with Chelsea, but it feels like this Premier League especially is so competitive, so close.
It's very inconsistent. Teams, I've said Arsenal, I think, are the only team really of the teams that you'd expect to be up there in that top 4 or 5 that are producing any level of sort of performance on a regular basis. I think all of them. I was at Chelsea, obviously Leeds-Chelsea last night, and Chelsea were miles off it. United well off it a week last Monday, but then come back against Palace. Liverpool have been up and down, Tottenham up and down, City a bit more reliable, but still, even them sort of conceding 4 goals at Fulham. So, yeah, it's a bit of a mad league at the moment. It's certainly not settling down. It means it's interesting because we had a period where it looked like Manchester City would never lose a game ever. And Liverpool, when obviously Klopp and Pep Guardiola were going at it, but we wanted more exciting football. We wanted results that maybe would shock us. And last night I thought the game at Leeds was fantastic. I thought Leeds United played really well, and that'll be a great game on Saturday as well, Leeds v Liverpool.
Arsenal's title charge this season has been built on a solid defence, with Mikel Arteta's side having conceded just 7 goals in 14 league games so far. And at the heart of it for the season has been William Saliba, who's been speaking to the Men in Blazers podcast.
Arsenal are currently top of the Premier League table, and I admire the team so much, finishing second 3 seasons in a row, and then summon the tenacity to keep growing. Can you put into your own words from the inside what feels different from the past 3 years?
The last 3 years, and we finished second 3 times in a row. So yeah, of course, we want to win this league. Now we are first, but we know that we have to stay focused because this league, everything can happen quickly. We know that we have to be strong and we have to win every games. If we win every games, of course, we will win the Premier League, but it's not easy. I feel that my team and the staff, they have the confidence that we can win the league, but we have to show it on the pitch because we don't want to finish second again.
For the longest time, your Arsenal was said to have a weak centre. And I think one of the most profound of Mikel Arteta's transformations is that Arsenal are no longer bullied. Every player seems eager to stand up for and to defend their teammates. How has that mentality developed? Is it something you work on in training, or it can only occur in the matches and the big moments that matter?
No, I think we have a good staff for that. Gabi and Ze, who help us a lot, especially for the defenders and for as well the attackers and midfielders. He give us energy because he's always talking, always loud, even in the training. When we do simple things, he's always loud. Even for nothing, he will be loud. He talk a lot, and I think it's good to have him close to us because he gives us a lot of grinta, and I think this guy can help us a lot.
I love watching you defend, but more than anything, William, I love watching you see your teammates score and celebrate almost harder for them than you do for your own goals. Last weekend, you marked one of Eze's hat-trick goals by giving Declan Rice a love slap. What goes through your mind in those moments? You seem to flip from being a player to a fan, the joy that you bring.
Yeah, I'm a bit excited when someone scores because you know I'm at the back and I'm watching when my strikers have the ball, and every games are hard and we want to win this league, so there is a lot of tension in the game. So when I see someone score for us, so I always run to him to give him a hug, and I'm always excited. I think I will keep going like this.
I mentioned Eberechi Eze. He's like a South London sorcerer. Arrived at Arsenal over the summer, scored the historic hat-trick in the North London derby. How would you describe almost the wizard filth that Ebbs brings to this team? Something so different.
Since I arrived in Arsenal, I play a lot against him and I watch him a lot. He's an unbelievable player. Technically, he's so good. When you give him the ball, he's never under pressure. He trusts himself, can score, he can pass, and he got the number 10 on his back as well, so he has to be good with the ball. But yeah, it was a nightmare to play against him, and to have him, my team now is good.
What promise can you make to the Arsenal faithful about this season and all that is to come?
We are good now, and we want to bring some titles at the end of this season, and we will give everything for that. It's good to talk, but we will show it on the pitch. But yeah, we will give everything until the end, and hopefully we will bring a lot of good things to the fans at the end of this season.
How high did you rate William Saliba, Danny?
I think as a partnership, they are fantastic. I think all great championship winning sides have always been built on a good goalkeeper, a very, very good goalkeeper, and a very solid, great centre-back partnership. And I think that's what you've got at Arsenal at the moment. They've been building this relationship for a number of years, and it seems to be getting better and better. And sometimes it's just understanding each other. You know, we've seen it all the way through the years. You know, Bruce, Pallister, Terry, Carvalho, Rio and Vidic. You know, after that, you have to have that telepathic knowledge.
Yeah, he's talked about that. How does that come?
Yeah.
How does that happen then?
It's just consistency of, you know, you understand each other's weaknesses. You know what they're going to do. And, you know, you just build that relationship over time. And you think, well, actually, if the ball's in this situation, I know where he is without looking. I know what he's going to do. You know, you look over your shoulder and he's there. And it just gives you that confidence and belief. If I slip up, you know, very simple old adage, you know, if one's going to go and try and win the ball and head it, the other one drops off and covers round. And it's just build. They're very, very good players, good defenders, but that understanding of where each other is to cover each other's mistakes is absolutely exceptional.
And you mentioned some famous Premier League pairings there, you know, from your Terrys and your Carvalhos and your Ferdinands and your Vidic's, and I suppose back at Arsenal from the Adams and Bold days. I mean, do you put these two, Gabriel and Saliba, in that bracket?
If they win the league, yes.
Right.
I think when you talk, I think when you talk about all those other great defensive partnerships, they won probably multiple titles or multiple trophies within that. So I think, yes, they are good enough to be compared, but you've got to win something to be put in that bracket.
Well, they're in a good place to do that, aren't they? 5 points clear at the top of the table. It's been such a busy midweek in the Premier League. Let's go back to Dave for news from them all.
Yes, let's get the latest from the Premier League 20 this evening. Declan Rice has played down concerns over his fitness after he was withdrawn late on in Arsenal's 2-0 win over Brentford with an apparent calf problem. Rice has told Sky Sports News after the game that he was fine, so good news for him. Young Boys fans have been banned from attending their next away game in the Europa League following the trouble at Aston Villa, which saw seats being ripped up and supporters fighting with police. Bournemouth midfielder Tyler Adams' long-range lob against Sunderland has been nominated for the Premier League Goal of the Month for November. Brentford boss Keith Andrews was proud of his players' performance and thoughts on another day they would have taken something from the game against Arsenal last night. It ended up being 2-0 at the Emirates. Brighton striker Stefanos Zimas is set to undergo a scan today after he was forced off injured after making his first Premier League start in a 4-3 defeat by Aston Villa. Scott Parker says he has no concerns over his head coach position at Burnley. Parker says his relationship with the chair, Alan Pace, is rock solid. Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca says his side can take nothing from their 3-1 defeat by Leeds at Elland Road. Bristol Palace have no new injury concerns following the 1-0 victory over Burnley. Oliver Glasner's side travelled to Fulham on Sunday. Sean Dyche says he's proud of his time as manager of Everton, but his focus will only be on Nottingham Forest when the two teams meet this weekend. Dyche spent almost 2 years with Everton, helping secure their Premier League safety while dealing with points deductions. Fulham head coach Marco Silva has been nominated for the Premier League Manager of the Month award for November. Leeds defender Jakob Bijol says there is plenty more to come from the team after that impressive 3-1 victory against Chelsea. It lifted them out of the bottom three. Liverpool head coach Arne Slot has admitted Anfield may be losing its fear factor after they were forced to come from behind to draw 1-1 with Sunderland. Lionel Messi says Pep Guardiola is the best of all the coaches that he's worked with in his career. Messi obviously played under the Manchester City manager at Barcelona. Mateus Cunha is available for Manchester United's game against West Ham this evening, but Ruben Amorim has said that two unnamed players are doubts. Newcastle United's new chief executive David Hopkinson says that he sees the club being one of the biggest in the world by 2030. Nottingham Forest will monitor defender Murillo ahead of their game with Everton this weekend. Murillo has missed the last couple of games with a hamstring injury, and he's also been suffering with illness too. Chemsin Talby says he wants to score more goals this season. He got his second of the campaign at Anfield in that 1-1 draw against Liverpool last night. Spurs head coach Thomas Frank says it will be special to face his former club Brentford on Saturday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Frank left Brentford for Spurs this summer after 9 years in West London. West Ham are expecting to be without Crescencio Somerville for their game against United at Old Trafford this evening. And the Wolves midfielder Marshall Monetzi is having a scan today on a calf injury. He was subbed on against Nottingham Forest last night but suffered that injury late in the game.